Welcome back to Winners and Losers, one and all. Obviously, it's a transfer special because we're in the midst of the transfer window. Zachary Jalab is here because Chris Hamill's on holiday. Zachary, how are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you, mate. Very good. Chilled weekend yourself?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Obviously, we played golf, didn't we, on the weekend? And then I went to see Top Gun yesterday, which is just absolutely sensational. It's so good. It is so good. Get to the cinema and watch Top Gun if you haven't already. That is not an ad, although if Top Gun or whoever makes Top Gun wants to sponsor the show, get in touch. Let's start with a talking point because this morning, we had the official announcement from Benfica that Darwin Nunez has joined Liverpool for €75 million plus a further €25 million in add-ons, making it the most costly purchase in the history of Liverpool Football Club. I think fourth on the list for all-time Premier League most costly transfers. Zachary, we spoke a lot about the transfer on Sunday Vibes, so if you haven't watched that already, go and watch it. But what we didn't speak about is where he's going to play. So where do you see him operating at Liverpool?
Yeah, I mean, he can kind of play on two different sides. Last season in Liga NOS, he kind of played through the middle as a number 9 and was very, very successful. Scored 26 goals, 6 higher than anyone else in Portugal, and only 4 of them were from penalties, all suggesting he's a very, very clinical striker. However, the season before that, you saw him kind of play off the left and a second striker as well, playing off of Seferovic. So he's kind of got several elements to his game, which I think Jurgen Klopp will enjoy and love. And we know how Liverpool in general, like, even though they are in those positions of maybe Diaz on the left and Salah on the right, and then at times Jota in the middle, they all kind of swap during the game, and they do have that freedom to kind of play where they want at times. And you do also notice that in Nunez's style, that even when he is through the middle as a 9, he will kind of go towards the left and then run in through the middle. Now, not just obviously being a clinical striker, he was also decently creative as well. He made 10 big chances for Benfica last season in the league, which was the 14th best, and can also play on that left side in a front 2 if Liverpool were to ever play a 2 up top on as a left forward, which could be a possibility depending on what Jurgen Klopp wants to do. We know he is willing to change things, and things do just kind of change themselves during the game. And his XG is ridiculous. I mean, the Champions League alone, which we saw him face off against Liverpool, maybe that's what put him on the map for Jurgen Klopp. He was very, very impressed. He had an XG of 0.97 per game, which is ridiculous. Now, it's likely he will play through the middle, which is where obviously Sadio Mane kind of operated towards the end of the season, especially when Diaz was in the squad. It was very much Mane through the middle, Salah on the right, and Diaz on the left. And could be a decent, it seems like not necessarily a like-for-like replacement. I think they are slightly different players. But you can see him getting into that starting squad. Obviously, Firmino is now probably not the guy that he once was, but he is still there for decent cover. They've obviously got Harvey Elliott, who can play in midfield or up in the front 3. And they've also signed Fabio Carvalho, who can also play within that front 3 as well. And so I think it's a decent signing. It'd be interesting to see him kind of battle with Jota. But I mean, it's a lot of money, Joe, isn't it, to spend on someone that maybe wasn't there desperately needed.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Now, obviously, our Liverpool fans will kind of counter that by he's going to be on fairly low wages, less than £100,000 a week. Of course, they are going to be getting sales through the door. It looks like Sadio Mane is edging closer and closer to a move to Bayern Munich. And also, let's not forget, Takumi Minamino looks like he's off, and Liverpool want about £17 million, which seems like an awfully large sum, in my opinion. Again, spoke more about that on We Need to Talk, so if you haven't watched that already, go and watch it right now. What I will say is they are going to need goals going forward. So we've spoken about on Sunday Vibes, why have they changed the tact from going for, Tchouaméni? They were willing to spend 100 million on Tchouaméni and then saying, okay, let's instead put that money into the pot of a forward because he is available. Darwin Nunez is the guy we want, and they're backing him. But if you add up the goal contributions last season for the 3 players that have left or are leaving, Divock Origi is already out the door, 8 goal contributions. Takumi Minamino looks like he's out the door, 11 goal contributions in all competitions. And Sadio Mane edging closer to Bayern Munich, as I said a minute ago, 25 goal contributions. That's 44 goal contributions across the course of a season, which is a big old number for Darwin Nunez and Fabio Carvalho, who looks like he's coming in as a young prospect to cover. So So it's not an easy task, especially when you've got a weight of €100 million price tag on his back, which, does stand you out, and people will immediately point to the price tag should a couple of things go wrong. However, you know what it's like with Liverpool. They don't get many transfers wrong. They're very, very consistent in the market. And if Jurgen Klopp wants Darwin Nunez, he wants the physicality, he wants a Sadio Mane Mark II, then it looks like he's got his man. Liverpool fans, I'm sure, are getting very excited. But we mustn't forget as well that it does also mean that Sadio Mane looks pretty much 99% likely at this stage to leave the club, despite having 2 bids rejected by Bayern Munich.
Moving on to our winners now, weirdly, very rare this throughout this year, it's Manchester United, as they have made a breakthrough in negotiations with Frenkie de Jong. I tell you what, 3 weeks ago, I had zero hope this transfer was going to happen, but somehow it's getting very, very close. Now, multiple British media outlets, including The Athletic, are reporting that de Jong now wants to join the Red Devils after being convinced by Erik ten Hag on his project. Now, United still have to agree a fee with Barcelona, though, and Fabrizio Romano has revealed that United's initial offer of €60 million plus €10 million in add-ons was rejected by the Catalan club. Barca are supposedly looking for around €85 million, according to Big Romano, which United may hope to bring down due to their, obviously, financial situation that Barca have. They don't have the power as much as a normal club would. But Joe, obviously you are a United fan. I'm sure overall you'll be very, very happy about the move. But what are your thoughts and feelings?
Yeah, buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. My initial reservations about this move were, Frenkie clearly doesn't want to come to Manchester United. But then when I stopped and I just took a step back and I thought, is that the case, or is it more the case that he just simply doesn't want to leave Barcelona? Frenkie de Jong is a boyhood Barcelona fan, boyhood Ajax fan. The connection between those two clubs runs extremely deep, and once he got that move to Barcelona, and he's still playing pretty well, isn't he? I think to then be told you have to leave is really quite heart-wrenching, isn't it? And not because of things you've done on the field, but because of things that the club have done off the field that have really forced your hand. And so I think what's happened over the last couple of weeks is Frenkie has come to realise that Barca have no choice but to sell him because of this financial situation. He's then looked at the market and gone, okay, what's available for me? I've had an okay time at Barcelona. Maybe the reuniting with Erik ten Hag suddenly becomes a slightly more appealing option because he's going to be the standout midfielder for Manchester United. He's going to be played exactly where he wants to play, most likely where he has played for the Netherlands. And we saw him talking in the media just a few days ago, didn't we, about how much better he feels playing for the Netherlands when he's playing in the deepest line midfield position, the position that's occupied by Sergio Busquets at Barcelona, who of course he's never going to be able to usurp. I think he's a great age. I think he's a really good profile for what Man United need in terms of quality deep-lying midfielders. Still think a defensive midfielder is needed alongside him, somebody who's just going to be there and win balls for when Frenkie de Jong vacates that space. But I also thought it was quite telling, the shift in sort of communication from Frenkie de Jong to the media over the last 2 weeks. We've seen all sorts of chat, haven't we, about I want to stay, I love Barca, I want to stay. And then over the weekend we saw the question asked about whether or not he wants to swap the sunny skies of Catalonia for the wet, rainy sides of Manchester. And instead of kind of batting it back, he just simply said, I can't say anything, laughed it off. And I think that's probably quite telling that there are negotiations going on behind the scenes. And Frenkie, unfortunately for the lad, is effectively being forced out of Barcelona. And Manchester United have kind of hit the jackpot to an element just by sheer fluke, because Barca need money, Man United need midfielders, and at the same time Erik ten Hag has joined the club. Because if those stars didn't align, there's absolutely no chance United could get a central midfielder. But it also looks, doesn't it, Jalab, that potentially United's business won't just stop at de Jong in the next month or so.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you believe in TalkSport's articles.
Yes.
Now, United are supposedly progressing with the signing of Anthony from Ajax. Obviously, plays on the right wing for them last season. Had a fantastic season too at that. The Telegraph and Amsterdam have also reported that Anthony will leave for around 50 to 60 million euros. And that is obviously a clear area that United have been looking to strengthen. And I mean, you go into next season, if these transfers do happen, you have a Jadon Sancho on the left, you have You've got Anthony on the right. Frenkie de Jong comes in the middle. You got Harry Maguire still at the back with Rafa Varane, who I actually think will probably be pretty decent under Ten Hag. And the project does look very exciting. I'm sure that won't be where the signings end. As you mentioned, you need a DM, possibly need a fullback. And so it'll be very, very interesting to see how United's summer transfers will continue. But yes, let's move on to our losers, though, Joe. And it's not a club. It is sadly a manager, Maurizio Pochettino, who has left PSG by mutual consent after one of the most drawn out sagas in history. Kylian Mbappe ripped up his contract, told him to leave and pack his bags. He wasn't too happy. That saw him end his 18th month spell in charge of PSG by winning Ligue 1 in the end by 15 points this season. But according to French football expert Tom Williams, it was done by playing some awful football.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously the football sounds pretty garbaggio. I haven't watched loads of PSG in Ligue 1, but certainly he failed in the Champions League, didn't he? Especially given the fact that he signed Lionel Messi, or did he? Did he sign Lionel Messi, or was he given Lionel Messi, and was he given a group of other signings that he didn't necessarily want? Of course, we know the rumours that he never moved out of the hotel room. I think this was a bit of an odd fit to start with, to be honest with you, Pochettino and PSG. And what I will say is that managers that have subsequently left PSG, in recent years, haven't done too badly, have they? They've tended to prove to be pretty good coaches, i.e. the likes of Thomas Tuchel, Carlo Ancelotti, Unai Emery. But what next for Pochettino, Zach? Because it's a difficult situation for the man now, isn't it? I think it's very clear he's got a better identity at club building, developing youth players. There don't seem to be that many options on the market right now. Real Madrid have a coach in charge who just won the Champions League. Liverpool, Man City are set. United have just bought Ten Hag in. Conte's at Tottenham. Arteta's building a project at Arsenal. Nagelsmann's still at Bayern Munich. Dortmund have just appointed a new boss. Xavi's at Bar. Where does he go, Pochettino? It's a difficult one.
It's not easy at all. And if I'm Poch, to be honest, mate, you probably take some time out. You take a little bit of time off, and you wait for that first big job to maybe open up again midway through this season when inevitably one of the big boys have done poorly and end up sacking their manager. Or you could wait a season and see what happens with the Conte contract. He's only got one more season at the moment left on his deal. See what happens with that, and then maybe there is a kind of a return to Tottenham Hotspur and going from there. But again, it's a very different Tottenham Hotspur side to what he left. It's one that is basically committing to wanting to go very far this season and challenging this season by signing some older players in the likes of Perisic as well. That's not to say they don't have young players as well that could help, but definitely a different kind of Tottenham to what he left. Sure. So I think for now it's very much a waiting game, unless he wants to take a step back. But I just doubt that now. He's a manager that is seen as a top class one, as one that is expected to be managing high level. I think for now just take his time probably.
Yeah, I would kind of agree, and it's going to be interesting to see where PSG go now as well, because of course we saw reports on Friday that they'd agreed a deal with Zinedine Zidane, but then over the weekend Zinedine Zidane's camp came out pretty forcefully to deny those rumours. It seems like he's not going to be going to PSG. Of course, Luis Campos has been put in charge to a level. Of course, he's now football advisor. They've sacked Leonardo. And his selection is Christophe Galtier, of course, who's currently at Nice. He won Ligue 1, not last season, the season before with Lille, beating Pochettino to the league title, and is highly thought of by Luis Campos. But the reports we're seeing in France are that Luis Campos wants Galtier, QSI don't want Galtier, so they want a more high-profile manager to come through the door. Jose Mourinho seems to have said no, obviously because he wants to stay at Roma. Zidane said no, so where on earth do they turn? PSG fans want to hear from you in the comments below. Who do you want to take over? Because it seems like not only do you not know, but the club don't really know either right now. But that is it for another episode, Jalab. What should the people go and do next?
Well, if you want to find out more about transfers and everything like that, and us just discussing those transfers, check out Sunday Vibes that we did yesterday. We speak a lot about Nunez. We speak a lot about Tchouaméni, all that good stuff. Make sure you check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And also go and watch We Need to Talk as well from Friday, where I was ranking some of the biggest rumours of the week. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. Wiedersehen.